The purpose of this video is to provide a brief introduction to Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013. During this video, I will discuss the home page, discuss navigation panes, including the selected categories of cards, transactions, and inquiry. I will end the video with a very brief illustration of security as it pertains to user access. When GP is open, at the bottom left-hand corner contains the date, the company, and the user, each of which can be changed by clicking the item. The date shown here will default on all of the transaction windows and the reports. Therefore, it's very important to change the system date to match the actual transaction date if those two dates differ. And you can do that simply by clicking on the date, and you will get a window that will allow you to change the date. Now this is the home page. Has a to-do pane, a list of reminders and tasks. Right below it is a quick links window, and this quick links window is for easy access to different GP features and functions that are frequently used. The top right hand corner is a connect that provides internet links, and those generally pertain to our Dynamics related. You can see that there are blogs, there's a customer source news, and there's also a customer source training. Right below that on this particular page is My Reports. This contains shortcuts to GP reports. On the far left is the navigation panes, and you'll see icons for the functional areas, some of which correspond directly to our transaction cycles. For example, we have purchasing. And we can see that purchasing has cards. Cards contain relatively permanent information, can be updated periodically. And if we look at vendor, for example, we can see this is the window that we would use to set up a new vendor. And it's probably obvious that the information is somewhat permanent, although it may need to be updated periodically. We must have a vendor in order to carry out our purchasing transactions. For example, we have our purchase order entry, and we can see that would require a vendor ID. So the transactions category provide links to the windows that are used to capture data about the entity's activities, and in this particular case, those activities related to purchasing. The inquiry window allows us access to data and information for viewing purposes only. So if I look at vendor and use the magnifying glass to select a travel company, you can see that the fields are grayed out, so I can look at the fields, but I cannot change any of them. Even in the options, likewise, I can see the fields, but I cannot make any changes. The other transaction cycles, for example, sales, HR, and payroll, all have the same category layout as purchasing. Now, financial, while not a transaction cycle, is another functional area, and we might want to perform such activities as setting up or modifying our chart of accounts, which we consider a master record, or making journal entries. So under cards, because account is a master record, this is the window that we would use to set up a new account. And we can see that one of the requirements is to state the posting type. Is it a balance sheet account or is it an income statement account? What is its typical balance, a debit or a credit? So if I use the magnifying glass to look at the cash operating account, we can see that the account number is formatted such that there are 3 segments for a total of 9 digits. It's a cash account, so as expected it would appear on the balance sheet. Now the system knows do not close this account out at the end of the period. The typical balance is a debit, which is important for reporting purposes, because if it has a negative balance or a credit balance, then it would appear in brackets on those reports. If I wanted to look at some summary information in relation to the cash account, I can click on Summary, and I can look at account balances for years that are open, for all open years. If I wanted to drill down, I would simply highlight like period 2 and then click on what I would like to view. Maybe I would like to view the net change in period 2. If I was interested in looking at closed periods for closed years, the balances, the drop down shows that 2010 to 2013 are closed years. In this particular case, the balances are 0. I can also view the same thing through inquiry. If I look at summary, again, the magnifying glass to look at the cash account, and I can see for open periods I have the following years to look at, just like I did in the previous window, and I can drill down should I want to look at the debits, the credits, or the net change. For closed periods, I would simply look at the history summary. For transactions under financial, I'm just going to talk about general. This is the window that you would use to make a general journal entry. The last feature I will discuss is a very important feature in any system, and that is user access. In Dynamics GP, after the system administrator sets up a user with login credentials, the user must be given access to a company, and then the user can be assigned a security role. So if we look at the access window, there's only 3 users set up, and if I click on Bonnie.Klamm, I'll see that she is assigned to 2 companies, Fabricam and DynamicsCloud. The security for that user for the Fabricam company, that's what we will focus on. So here are all the security role IDs for assigning users. And if I just scroll down, you would see pretty soon a check mark for power user. So in the Fabricam company, Bonnie K. Klamm has power user status. Under DynamicsCloud, I'm just going to click on display selected roles, and we can see that power user is also the role that Bonnie.Klamm is assigned in the DynamicsCloud company. So this concludes my brief overview of Dynamics GP. Gave you a little bit of an introduction to the home page, the navigation panes, and then illustrated the process of giving user access to Dynamics GP companies, to Dynamics GP companies.